Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us. K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hello and welcome to another edition of C2C Rankem. I am the host, Big B, alongside my co-host, halfway around the world, Tim Hendricks. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Excited for this episode. It's kind of a little personal in some of these spots, so I'm happy to do it doing this one today.
Yep, and we're doing one of our favorite categories, birthdays. 2 weeks ago. Sorry, we missed last week. Personal life gets in the way, but this is definitely one of our favorite lists. Always like to see who's born on what day. So we'll start it off, Tim. May 1st. Let's do May 1st. And as always, we like to kind of guess where we're going to gauge in. I say we got 3. I might have a curveball in there. What are you saying, Tim?
I think three almost for sure. Maybe 4. Maybe I'm not sure. I've got a curveball, but I'm right now not sure how much of a curveball it is.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we got the same curveball. We're psyching each other out. So
yeah.
All right, number 5.
All right,
on May 1st.
My number 5. You know, we do a show on Sundays during the season called Monday. We call it Monday Morning Tailgate on Sunday. I'm joking. It's Sunday. I've been lucky enough to see this guy play for both of the teams that he played for. He played for the Patriots and he played for the Jets. I think he's one of the top 15 running backs of all time. I think his yardage tells me that he's in the top 15. I'm not quite sure. I think he's in the top 10. He played for Bill Parcells in both New England and the Jets, which is even funnier. And that's Curtis Martin.
Yeah. Nope. I actually, morning tailgate. I went another route. Probably one of the best slot receivers in the game at the time. Patriot Bronco, I believe, Les Welker. I went. So that was my number 5. Your number 4.
That's probably your curveball at this point. I went NFL again. Again, like I said, we have a morning tailgate on Sundays. I went Hall of Fame again. Probably the best two-way player to ever play in the NFL. Funny thing is, I think he played college in Philadelphia, went to high school in Philadelphia and in Pennsylvania, and ended up being a Philadelphia Eagle. Probably has one of the more famous pictures that's hanging up in the Hall of Fame where he's standing over top of Frank Gifford as if he had murdered Frank Gifford. And he hit him with a clothesline. He was a Hall of Fame center and a linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's Chuck Bednarik.
Oh, you went old school on that, and that's like you to go old school. You bring out the old schoolness, I guess. I was trying to think of a different word, like history. That's what I'm thinking of.
History.
My number 4 is your number 2.
My number 2.
I'm sorry.
How do you know what my number 2 is?
Yeah. But Curtis Martin, he's up there in rushing yards. Because he seemed like he just played forever and ever and ever. So, your number 3.
My number 3 is the one I'm thinking is my curveball at this point.
Okay.
Hollywood director, directed Mission Impossible 2. Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm absolutely looking at his IMDb.com page so I don't get in trouble for I screwed it up somewhere. Broken Arrow with John Travolta, but I think the thing he's most known for is doing Con Air with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, and that's John Woo.
Okay. No, I did see the name on there. Yeah. My first curveball. Yeah, I know we did a show a while back on guys we wanted to be growing up or something, and Zach Morris was one. This is guys another one. Calm Cool Collective on Family Matters. Darius McCrae, who played Eddie on Family Matters. Everybody just he just had that cool, calm collective that that's my number 3. Your number 2.
I saw that name. I'll be honest, I saw that name, but I'm thinking I could get in trouble with that name. Back in the 80s, everybody, there was this one song that came out, one of those songs that you listened to and then you turned around and hated it. As soon as you saw the video, it was one of those videos where everybody and their mother was in it, all fans and stars of the movie that it came from. Only done one song everybody remembers him for. And if I were to say, who are you going to call? You would say Ghostbusters. My number 2 is Ray Parker Jr.
Wow, I missed that name. I must have overlooked it, but that might be a bigger curveball than your other one. I'm going singer. When you started saying songs, I thought maybe we had the same number 2, but saw some clips of this guy. You might think of him as being a nice guy, which he probably is, but he seems like he has a little temper to him when certain fans get involved, and also a pretty good actor in The Blind Side, Tim McGraw.
I'm going to tell you our number 1 isn't the same.
All right.
Because my number 1 is your number 2. The son of a Major League Baseball player, Tug McGraw.
I did forget he did.
Yeah. Hell of an actor, hell of a singer. One very lucky husband, being married to Faith Hill. Tug McGraw. I think he's one of those guys our age would love to replace him to take his place, because he's done at this point. He's done it all.
So my big curveball, and I mean, I think we would have got to know this person if tragedy didn't happen. And when I Googled May 1st, this was the first name that popped up. Lost way too soon in a crash involving her father and 6-7 other people. Gina Bryant. Again, not famous for what she could have been, but from the stories you read and the stories people tell you, she was going to be an NBA or WNBA star.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So we got 2. I thought, I thought when we talked curveballs, I thought Bryant was going to be both of our curveballs, but
no, I didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't see Gigi Bryant. I wish I had.
Yeah, that was the first one I saw, and I'm just like, she's got to be up there. Granted, again, lost way too soon.
Way too soon.
All right, so May 2nd, we're going to move to, which is today. So anybody's birthday is today, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm going to go on 11. I think we got 4, and our number 1s are going to be the same.
Oh, our number 1s are going to be the same. Everything else after that, so it's a question at this point. I don't know. Yeah. I may have a curveball, but I may not. I don't know.
All right, you're number 5.
My number 5 is a famous soccer player who's known to be married to a Spice Girl. Don't tell me that's your curveball.
No.
Oh no. Came over and played for the LA Galaxy so he could broaden the United States on soccer to make the MLS a little more worldwide. He's part owner for the Miami club down in, of course, in Florida. And that's David Beckham.
Okay. I'm going to start with my curveball right away. In racing, he's part of one of the few families that, when it comes to racing, you think of. He likes to go fast. Kyle Busch.
Not a curveball.
Not a curveball?
Not a curveball.
Okay. All right, you're number 4.
Because my number 4 is your number 5, Rowdy Busch. I saw Kyle Busch and I'm going, okay, yeah, I have to have Kyle on here.
Yeah, we don't put too many racers in here.
No, and they rarely come up. And to me, it's and Kyle Busch.
Or they just come up on the wrong day. I mean,
yeah, we just don't pick the right days for. Yeah. It's not, they're not born on the popular days that we pick. Kyle's won enough championships. He's won enough races on everything. I think right now, he holds the NASCAR record for races won between all the divisions that he goes into, between the trucks, and the former Busch Series and the current former Winston Cup, because I can't remember what they've changed it to this week.
To me, it's racing.
It's racing, but I like Kyle. I like the way he races. I think he's back to the old school Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin type of race car drivers, and I really, really like him.
All right. My number 4 played a security guard or cop. I don't know exactly, but is Ray Taylor Jr., who, if you watch wrestling, known as the Big Boss Man. That's my number 4. Your number 3.
Here's my curveball.
Uh-oh.
I saw this, and I grew up listening to country music. Again, I think we've brought it up on another show where I grew up to listen. We listened to, if I were on a trip, we were taking a trip to see my grandparents in central Wisconsin, that we would listen to country every time we were in the car. Country music was coming on. I actually had neighbors who had started a country band, and every chance they would practice, I would always hear songs by this group, and the lead singers. It's his birthday today, and it's Larry Gatlin of the Gatlin Brothers.
Okay, yeah, that is a nice curveball. Look and miss on that one because it looked so pretty. My number 3, former punter of your Indianapolis Colts.
No.
Yes.
Please don't tell me it. No.
Yes. A WWE commentator part-time, a NCAA commentator, has his own podcast which blows up every time Aaron Rodgers is on there. And that's Pat McAfee. Oh, did I get the big curveball on that one?
I'm gonna literally cry at this point. I didn't even see it. That's terrible. I didn't even see Pat McAfee.
Yeah,
Pat, if you're watching, I apologize now, and happy birthday, sir. Please, I don't need to be kicked in the head.
Oh man, and could he punt, man?
Oh my gosh,
he wasn't afraid to take down some players though either.
Oh, him on punt coverage was scary.
Yeah.
Whew. Oh, I'm embarrassed.
Him in the ring is actually pretty decent. I kind of like him in the ring.
Yeah, he's good. And Greg, if you're watching, I'm sorry. As a fellow Colts fan on the network, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you're number 2.
My number 2, I believe, was your number 4.
4?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, one of the best things I ever saw this guy do was WCW.
Okay.
Okay, if I'm wrong, please tell me.
Yeah.
Where he was at Paul White's dad's funeral.
No, that was
Was that somebody else? It wasn't
No,
Ranger 8?
oh no, you are right. Yeah, it was WCW. Yeah.
Where he ends up where he drives off with the Giants' dad,
Yeah.
coffin dragging behind the car.
Yep.
I honestly loved I loved the Big Boss Man. I always thought he was so cool, and and it was like and he all of a sudden he became part of what he didn't become NWO, did he? But then
Oh,
again,
yeah.
WCW had 3/4 of the roster on NWO.
Yeah, if they said if you weren't NWO, you're against them. So
Yeah, but yeah, Big Boss Man's my number 2.
yeah. My number 2 is your number 5. When you talk soccer or football, as it's called overseas, if you don't know who David Beckham is, you're not a fan. So it's just one of those names that you say soccer, David Beckham. So yeah, my number 2 is David Beckham. Number 1, without a shadow of doubt, I think we both have. So
do you want to announce the number 1 at this point?
yeah.
And to think he may have been in the NFL if it hadn't been for Warren Sapp.
Yep.
End up going to, most people don't know, he had a brief little stint in the CFL.
Yep.
Had a cup of coffee.
Yep. If you watch Young Rock.
Yep. If you watch the Young Rock, he was there throughout the whole show. His character is there throughout the whole show.
Hell of a singer.
I was lucky enough and just to see him wrestle when he was part of the Nation of Domination, and then I was one of the people at a Raw taping in Milwaukee that started a unsavory conversation, chant about calling him chicken poop, and that's probably one of the highest grossing box office stars that the WWE, WCW, NWO, whatever has ever produced. That goes against Hogan and Cena and Triple H and Jericho and everybody else, and the Miz. Miz is no A-lister. And that's, go ahead. I'll let you, because you already know. Go ahead.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is our number 1. Good actor. I mean, the guy has some vocals too. He can sing. He can do funny stuff. He can do serious stuff. And someday we might get our dream WrestleMania match. Who knows?
Who's that? Gilbert versus The Rock?
What's that?
Gilbert versus The Rock?
Yeah. No, Roman Reigns versus The Rock. So, everybody's still pining for that one. But all right, let's go on.
4. Just for anybody who's counting on that one, we got 4 right.
We got 4 and the number 1. So, all right, let's go on to May 5th. I'll say 2. I don't think we're going to have too many in this one.
We might have 3, maybe.
Yeah.
At this point, half our card is curveballs.
Yeah, I say this one. I'll stick with 2. So let's go with your number 5.
My number 5 is a German philosopher.
Oh, you lost me a German philosopher.
If it wasn't, and to be honest, if our number 5 doesn't happen, my number 5, because it's not our number 5 at this point, doesn't create the government that he created, we don't have the Cold War. We don't have China losing their ever-loving mind because they think they're right. You don't have Putin doing what he's doing in the Ukraine. And I'm talking about the German philosopher and the creator of communism, Karl Marx.
Okay.
Curveball.
Big curveball. Didn't see that one coming. You could have gave me 10 options. I probably still wouldn't have had them on there. My number 5, an up and coming actor. I mean, looking at his stuff, he's been in quite a bit, but I haven't heard of him. But when I saw one of his roles was Superman, it's like, okay, gotta have Superman in there. Henry Carlo. Carbell?
Gavel.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. That's one of the guys that I had drafted for my baseball team on Saturday.
Oh, okay. That's why the name kind of popped out on me. That's right. So, all right, number 4.
Number 4. This man, oh my gosh, he's kind of a redemption story at this point.
Ooh.
With his, oh yeah, now I've got you going, right?
Oh, okay.
Had his when he had a little bit of an abusive relationship with Rihanna.
I know who you're talking about.
Not on your list, right?
Nope.
But got smart and got his head out of his ass, as we like to say, and became and had one of the biggest YouTube videos from a wedding that got recreated because of one of his songs that got recreated for The Office. Seems to get recreated at weddings because of this song and the dance that happened because of it, and that's Chris Brown.
Yeah, I thought about putting him on the list. After my top, well, I could have probably bumped one guy, but
I'm starting to feel like I'm definitely thinking our number ones aren't the same at this point.
I don't know.
No, I can guarantee it.
Sticking with the NFL theme that, as you guys know, NFL draft was this past weekend. So a guy I kind of like watching to play, played for the Panthers, I know. Might have played for a couple other teams. Bears, maybe, I think he played.
That's the one I'm thinking of. I think he played for Green Bay a little bit too.
Yeah. Musa Muhammad. So kind of like watching him play. So your number 3.
I saw that name. And
ooh, I missed a big one on the 5th.
On the 5th? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this going to be as big as the other one from the other show?
No.
Other thing? Okay, cool.
This is a minor league miss.
Oh, okay. I think I've said it already for May 2nd that when I went on trips, I used to listen to country music. She always seemed to go on tour with George Jones, and I don't know why. But I'm thinking she passed away not too long ago. But when everybody back in the 70s and 80s, when everybody wanted a love song and they wanted to make sure that you knew how much you loved your guy. I'm talking to the women and some men. And you always played Stand By Your Man. Bit Tammy Wynette. So yeah, my number 3 is Tammy Wynette.
Yep. I can't disagree because that's my number 3 was Tammy Wynette. So yeah, like you said, it was one of those things, like you said, in certain decades, you want a certain song sang by a person, she's the one to call for definitely long songs, duets, stuff like that. So yeah. Well, after we're done here, I'll get to my number 5, and hopefully that person's not watching because they come kick our butts.
Oh, really?
So, even though he's older and lives in Florida. So
older and lives in Florida.
Your number 2.
My number 2 is probably your number 1. I promise you it is because my number 1 has already been on your list.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Again, probably if Beyonce wasn't on the planet and Taylor Swift wasn't on the planet, this singer would probably be the most popular singer in the entire world. Oh no, you don't have her?
Miss.
Who did you miss? Oh my gosh. There's Rolling in the Deep. Set Fire to the Rain. Did you miss Adele?
I saw her name. I did see that. You kind of threw me off there. I'm like, okay, did I really miss somebody? Just not an Adele I guess fan. I'm just not a big fan of hers. I saw the name and know who she is.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll let you slide on that one.
So my top, I guess our top 2 is going to be way different. Because my number 2, We kind of spoke about her daughter on May 1st, Gina Bryant. Vanessa Bryant is born on May 5th.
Really?
Again,
Good Lord.
you know, so
Yeah. She's not
yeah, our
up.
number ones are way different.
We're not even. I think we're gonna have one at least. I think we're at this point we're gonna have one. No,
Well, no, you said your number one, my number already on there. So go
five.
ahead.
Yeah. Um. My brother's not gonna like you so much. Because my brother's a Superman fan. Huge Superman fan. Huge Henry Cavill fan. But he's done other stuff.
Well,
People.
he's not my number five. Your brother's not going to.
He's not going to kill you. He's just not going to. He's just not your number one.
Yeah.
But yeah, my number one I took as an outfielder for in our fantasy draft on Saturday.
Yep.
For non-baseball players to play for my team, and that's Henry Cavill.
Yep. Again, my number one.
At this point, who did I miss?
Yeah. Well, if you watch Boy Meets World, who was the love interest in that one? Growing up,
I missed Topanga.
Corey Matthews was a lucky guy.
I missed Topanga.
Yeah, she missed Topanga. Danielle Fischel. Yeah, born on May 5th. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
If I'd have known that Karl Marx isn't on my list. Oh man,
but Chris Brown will make it. But yeah. What can you say? Growing up, I mean, she was. Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys would.
Yeah.
Rephrase her name to something else that we won't say.
I think. Oh yeah. I think a lot of people who would kick my.
Yeah. So we had two, like I said, but it was a different two. Actually, if I would have put two together, I would have said three, but because of Superman. So
right.
May 9th. Let's move on to May 9th. This one, I'm going to say our top three should be the same. I'm going to go three.
They should be the same. But I think they might be
in different orders, of course.
Interchangeable.
Yeah. So, all right. So you're number 5.
I kind of went with a homer pick on number 5.
We might have 4 then.
Because I remember his dad playing baseball for the Tigers. I can't remember. He went to Japan. His dad went to Japan before he went to the Tigers.
Yeah, because he came back in his first year back. I think
he hit 51. He hit like 40 some home runs.
51, I think it was.
Yeah. And he was taking batting practice at Tiger Stadium and hitting balls out at what, 10 years old? 10, 11 years old?
Early teens, I think, yeah.
And then you find out the guy's a vegetarian. Okay. Not at that size, you're not. But he played for the Milwaukee Brewers. I was so happy when he was with the Brewers, and then crushed when he ended up going to the Texas Rangers, and then injury made him retire. Broke my heart. Funny thing is, I think he ended up retiring from the Rangers and the Brewers with the exact number of home runs that his dad had.
Yeah, I think it was scary. It was scary statistics. If J-Mac
was scary, they were almost identical.
Yep.
And the creator of what we call in Milwaukee beast mode, and that's Prince Fielder.
Yeah, I got Prince Fielder as my number 5 because, like you said, watching clips of this kid that are showing up now or when he was playing in Tiger Stadium, just putting him on the roof that I think only his dad and maybe Reggie Jackson were able to do.
I think Kirk Gibson did it once.
Yeah, maybe Kirk Gibson, but just to launch him. As a matter of fact, I believe when I went to a Milwaukee game, I think I saw Fielder when he got drafted. They had a little ceremony for him. Yeah, he was a beast, and he went from the Brewers to the Rangers, like you said. Scary stats that him and his dad are identical in almost every category. Another guy that due to injury lost
A lot.
his part of his career. So what numbers that guy could have put up, and to hear that him and his dad don't talk is kind of shocking too.
It's amazing to hear that.
Yeah.
And not an amazing in the good way either.
And he wanted if you went to Field or Prince and asked him about his dad, he wouldn't even talk to you. So
right.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to number 4.
Number 4. I'm gonna guess you don't have an actress on your number 4 list. On your number 9, on your May 9th list. Known for she did a small little indie film when she started out called Kids. I recommend not to watch it. Especially if you have kids. No. She's also been known to be in Clerks, Clerks 2, Clerks 3. She played in
3 Clerks. Wow.
Huh? Yeah, 3 Clerks. Oh, believe me, the way Clerks 3 ended, spoilers, is they're not going to do a Clerks 4. But she did Alexander with oh my gosh, I can't believe Colin Farrell. Lately, she's been known to do Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars. Now she's got her own series starting up on Disney Plus. She was in Daredevil on when it was on Netflix, but she's starting to hit her stride a lot like Pedro Pascal is, and that's Rosario Dawson.
Okay.
Curveball.
No, well, yeah, it is. But I also went the other way too. I do have an actress on my list.
Oh gosh, no.
The role I know her for most is playing the mom in the Wonder Years, Allison Miles. She's also been in a couple soap operas, General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, stuff like that. So, yeah, there's my curveball, Allison Miles. All right. Number 3. This is where I said we're going to be same but different order.
Okay. I went hockey. Nope, I didn't even get a blip of a possibility of what it could be. A lot of people recognize him as probably being one of the top 3 players to ever play as a Detroit Red Wing. It was a GM for them for a brief amount of time, but he is considered the architect of what the Tampa Bay Lightning is right now because of what the Tampa Bay Lightning are. It's because of their GM, and it's amazing what he's done as a GM, which means what he did on the ice was amazing because he understood talent when he was on the ice with the Red Wings, and that's Stevie Yzerman.
Yeah, I got Yzerman as number 3 too. I just like you said, when again a name that's associated with a team or sport, you say Detroit Red Wings, Yzerman is going to be almost your number 1 name spit out. So
right,
all right, your number 2.
My number 2 is a singer from New Jersey. I remember seeing a clip of him with it's not technically a duet because there was 3 other people on the stage, but he was there. I believe he was in Philadelphia with the Boys to Men, where they sang Longest Time.
Okay.
But he's so well known to being married to Christy Brinkley, saying Uptown Girl. I'm still trying to figure out who started the fire because obviously we didn't. And that's Billy Joel.
Yeah, that he's my number 2 because, well, when I first looked it up, that was the first thing that popped up. So I'm like, okay, put him in my number 1. Did some research, of course, dropped him to 2. Again, another guy, another name when it comes to music where you want something written or sang a certain way, you get him there. Yeah, Billy Joel's my number 2. So, Tim, you're number 1.
So there was a show we did many shows ago.
No, it's probably middle of spring training because it was
it was spring training, and I think the thing was our top 5 outfielders.
Yep. Never lived this
I
one
didn't
down.
forget. I'm going to say this now to our fans and to our listeners and to our watchers. I didn't forget him. I didn't forget him because his kid played for the Milwaukee Brewers, which makes it really difficult for me to forget him to begin with. Plus, when a guy guy walks more than he strikes out, I think in his entire career, it's just ridiculous. To me, one of the purest hitters to ever play Major League Baseball. And that's the former San Diego Aztec manager Tony Gwynn. I threw it in there. I threw the
I got him at
curveball
number
in.
1. That's who bumped Billy Joel down to number 2 for me. Tony Gwynn. What can we say? I think a lot more people, as they're diving into stats and this and that, are considering him a better hitter than Pete Rose. And which they should be. I mean, when a guy strikes out his whole career more than people do on opening weekend, I mean it's just ridiculous. Again, if J-Mac was here, he would tell you. I mean, he could bat 0 for 1,000 and still have a above 300 ERA or 300 batting average.
What did I hear? I saw a stat somewhere where that he at an 0-2 count, he's still batting like a 375.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the guy just.
Are you crazy?
And the thing is if he played now and you try to shift him, okay, go ahead because he will go the opposite way.
He
will
peppered the ball everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, Tony Gwynn, obviously, number 1 on this one. It should have been number 1 on a different list of mine too, but
I didn't forget him, folks. I didn't forget him.
Well, we had the same top 3. We had 4 on that list. And technically we had 5 because we both had an actress, just our curveballs. So, all right. So we're moving into May 12th. Tim, why don't you do the honors and say why we picked this day?
All right. I'm gonna say originally we had May 11th.
Yep.
May 12th is a bit more of a personal day for me. It's not my birthday, but it's my brother's and my mother's birthday. That day my brother will turn 40 oh my gosh, my brother was born in 46. My mother, I'm gonna save her the embarrassment and not tell her age. She's turning 29 again for the 40th time.
Well, definitely happy birthday to those two when it comes up.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
So you're number 5. Actually, I say we got 3. Our number 1s, I think, are going to be the same.
I think our number 1s are going to be the same. I think we might have. I've got 2 at number 5.
Okay.
One is because of one of it's because my brother's favorite player growing up had the same birthday as he did, and it just happened to be lucky there. And I believe the man should be. I'm going to say this again and probably be wrong again. The man should be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Okay.
That's
number 5.
My number 5, I have 2 people. I think this is the first time we've actually. I will say this is the first time we've actually had a fictional character on our list. Come on, you saw the name because I know you're on my site. I know you're on the site that I was at.
No, I'm trying to think if we had another fictional character on our list.
Probably.
I know I had a dog one time on our list for some reason.
Yeah, you had a dog on our list, but he was real, so he
was real. All right.
Most people know probably what are they on their 33rd season, 34th or 35th season at this point on Fox.
Okay.
They finally got a movie 8 years ago, and that's The Simpsons. But it's Homer J. Simpson's birthday on May 12th.
Really?
And yeah, it was. I saw it. I'm like, I have to put it on there, and then that's why I went with the second person. My brother's
literally on that site. I gotta look now. I'm looking.
Look it up on this day. It comes up. My brother's favorite baseball player played for the Detroit Tigers. I think we brought this up before.
Oh, there it is, right there. He would be 66. All right. How did I miss that one? I don't know. I would have put it on the list, you know.
Yeah, I know you would have. But my favorite baseball player growing up, my brother was a Braves fan. He's going to tell me that I'm an idiot saying that, but he was a Braves fan. But yet my brother had this affinity for Lou Whitaker. And then my brother would collect anything and everything under the sun for Lou Whitaker cards because he was so proud that he had the same birthday with Lou Whitaker. Didn't have the same affinity for Lawrence Phillips, who he shares a birthday with. But yeah, so mine too are Homer Simpson and Lou Whitaker.
And you know, as I'm reviewing the list here, they both show up back to back. I don't know how I missed that because honestly, my number 5 I had a questionable number 5. One because he's a decent actor, more of a comedic actor, I think, more of like I don't want to say the dumb roles, but just
who did
he
I
was
miss?
in Biodome.
Who did I miss at this point?
He comes from his brothers are all big actors, but Stephen Baldwin was born on his day, and trust me, he would not have made my list if I would have did more research and saw the other guys on there. Especially Homer Simpson, because I'm not a fan of his. I know his name. I could have added a couple other guys on there, but all right, number 4.
All right, now I'm starting to wonder what we've got on this list that are the same. To me, if you were talking about country band duos, he's on the list. I think he's a little further down if it's on the same list we're looking at. Gets I might be wrong on which one it is because I think I always get they confused on who's the taller one and who's the shorter one. But you always listen to Boot Scootin' Boogie. You always remember Neon Moon, and that's one half of Brooks and Dunn, Kix Brooks.
Kix Brooks is the shorter one because wasn't he on?
I think he's the shorter one of the two.
Yeah,
I think it's Ronnie Dunn is the taller, shorter one is Kix Brooks.
Yeah. Oh, another name I kind of missed here. I did miss Kix Brooks. Once they fell apart, they kind of
they kind of just
And it was funny because I saw Ronnie Dunn at concert here at the State Fair, and he talked about the breakup and how
really
it was like a typical breakup. You had to divide everything in half, So, looking at this list, I think. But anyways, number 4 for me, an actor that kind of fallen off the face of the earth, I kind of think, but he appeared in all. Well, I should say all of them because there were spin-offs of them, but the major ones of the American Pie series.
Oh, okay.
And that's
I had to think about who I missed.
Jason Briggs.
Yeah, I saw his name.
But I think after looking at this, I think we're going to kick ourselves if you don't have this one on here. As I'm looking at, I'm keeping it pulled up. So let's go to number 3.
Number 3. This man was lucky enough to probably catch some of the greatest pitchers of the mid 50s, the 50s, the 60s. But if it isn't, if you don't remember this catcher for the Yankees, for him being a catcher for the Yankees, it's for some of the absolutely crazy things he said. It's deja vu all over again. It ain't over till it's over. And to believe that my brother had these 2 baseball players on his birthday is a little. And my brother was a hell of a baseball player, and that's Yogi Berra.
Yep. For me, number 3, I cannot do I can't do anything this guy can do. And I will argue if anybody wants to disagree with me, this is the GOAT of his sport. He's the one that put the sport on its map. And if it's not for him, we don't see skateboarding anywhere near the Olympics. Tony Hawk. The guy could do amazing things on that, on that skateboard. So, and of course, it came out video game PlayStation, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 or 5 of them. There's like
Which I still couldn't even do that. So
I couldn't do that. No, there's no way.
All right.
I played Skate or Die and sucked at it.
Number 2.
I think we may only have 2 on this list at this point.
I don't know, man.
To me, my parents will tell me that they remember seeing this comedian on Ed Sullivan, Steve Allen, back in the day as the hippy dippy weatherman. I don't know about you, but I know I had a friend that had his album, his comedic album of the 7 words you can't say on television. Later on, he ended up being in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, where he plays I want to say he plays a priest, where he's trying to push the new Christianity to the new Catholicism, which is funny because he's not really religious. To me, besides Robin Williams and Richard Pryor, probably the top 3 stand-up comedians of all time. Push the limits even further than I think Richard Pryor and Robin Williams ever did, and that's George Carlin.
Yeah, I just see the name up there. My number 2, we're gonna dig a little bit here in TV shows. Growing up, I think the TV show was based. I don't want to say on a foster home, but I think it was kind of like a group home for kids or something like that for high school kids. It was all females.
Oh my God, I miss Facts of Life.
Yes, you did.
Oh my God, I miss
Kim Fields Morgan, Tootie from Facts of Life.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Tim,
Oh.
I'm getting you today. But the thing is all the curveballs I throw at you don't even equal up to the Tony Gwynn one I missed. Yeah. But now I'm kind of curious of what your number 1 is. This is because I thought we'd have the same number 1.
We might at this still. We still might. No.
No.
Okay. Because you got Yogi Bear as your number 1. I'm thinking. I'm thinking you've got Yogi Bear at this point as your number 1.
Yes, I do have Yogi Bear as my number 1.
I may hurt you on this one.
Okay.
We did a show back during Oscar times.
Okay.
And we had a list of actresses, best actresses that have won an Oscar.
Okay.
She may have been number 3 on my list because she's not Meryl Streep. But she's been known to do stuff with Spencer Tracy. She did African Queen with Spencer Tracy. She did a lot of stuff. Nominated, I want to say, I'll be wrong. I'm not going to say it. So when I saw this name, this was my automatic number 1. And that's Katharine Hepburn.
Not the number 1 I was thinking of, but because you started saying actresses, we missed Vanessa Williams.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Okay. I'm sitting down, I was like, oh shoot, we missed Vanessa Williams.
May 12th is chock full, and I'm 12. We could have done 10 and still had people.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, we got a few minutes left here. We do have 2 categories left. Same day.
So who's your number 1?
Yogi Berra.
Okay.
Yep. Yogi Berra is my number 1.
So that's the only one we got right?
That is the only one we got right. That is. So May 14th is our next day, which happens to be Mother's Day. So any mothers watching right now, happy Mother's Day early to you guys.
Yeah, very early too.
So we are going to do two lists. One, the mothers or the females. So strictly females. Which again, I texted him late last night and said, "Hey, I think we
Well,
need to
that
do
was this morning. You text me this morning.
That's right. It was this morning because I was off work. I was like,
It was
"Hey,
morning for me at least.
I think we need to do a guys list on this one too because there's a lot of
Yeah.
guys." So we got two lists for May 14th. The women one, I'll say right now, I'll be shocked if we get one.
Oh, we'll get one.
All right, so let's start with number 5 for the women.
I just want to double check on if I'm right on this, if I'm right on something. But my number 5, I'll be honest. I when I saw this name, I had to put it on. But I'm telling you, the women for Mother's Day is a little difficult, which is weird that it happened. But I've seen her on ESPN. I think she's done NFL Live during the season. I know she's always seems to be at the table with everybody on NFL Live just before the primetime games. And that's Susie Colbert.
I saw her name up there, and I'm like, God, who the, and it said sports analyst or something. I'm trying to think of who she was, but now that you said that, that does ring a bell. So my number 5 is an actress. I'm trying to find out what she played in. But it's Shirley Sapork. If we just type her in here quick, but yeah, it was slim pickings when it came to the actresses here. So go ahead with your number 4.
My number 4. Not really.
I'm sorry, not actress. She was a female golfer that came up with the LPGA tour. That's who she is.
I saw that, and for some reason I skipped over it. My number 4, for a lot of people who watched Disney back when we were growing up, between 1986 and 2016. It's strange because this is at this point every one of these are a curveball almost at this point.
Yeah.
If you ever listen to the voice of Minnie Mouse between 1986 and 2019, this woman, born on May 14th, did the voice of Minnie Mouse, and her name is Russie Taylor.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I don't have that one on there. My number 4 is an actress. 2 Academy Awards, 4 British Awards. I don't know why the name jumped out at me, but it was Cat Blanchett, Blanchettt. Her real name is Catherine. So let's go with number 3.
I too went with an actress at number 3. I went with an actress best known for being a director, but also playing in Godfather 3. Being the first, I want to say before I get this wrong, an Oscar winner for winning for best screenplay for Lost in Translation. Also, daughter of a classmate whose birthday is in May 14th as a man. And that's Sofia Coppola. Her father is Francis Ford Coppola.
Okay.
But she's won for best writing and original screenplay for Lost in Translation. She was nominated for other things, but she's been an actor. She is the niece of Talia Shire, the person who played Adrian in the Rocky movies. She's also a cousin of a little known actor known as Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, who knows that guy?
Yeah, nobody.
All right, so my number 3 is an astronaut.
What?
We don't have too many of them on here. So Jessica Watkins. Yeah, name jumped out at me. Known for being an astronaut, so why not? So All right. Number 2 we're at.
Number 2. The only reason why I know this person is because of my daughter. My daughter used to watch Nickelodeon, Nick Jr., Nick at Night. I've seen her in School of Rock with Jack Black, but I think I've seen her more in iCarly than I have in School of Rock, and that's Miranda Cosgrove.
Okay.
Not a curveball.
No, I'm just looking up. Okay, just make sure I have my stats here. You know, kind of like you, don't want to be wrong, but mine is a female tennis star. I'm going to butcher her last name. Sorry if you're watching, or if anybody knows her that's watching. Oh, I got a curveball that we missed. I think it was May 5th. But we'll go back to that. Christina Mandovic, Mladenovic. So probably a girl that kicked my butt in tennis, so that's all that matters. All right. So you're number 1.
My number 1, which is funny because this proves that I pay attention to your list, is an actress. She played in Pinocchio. She played a character by the name of Spazzatura. Now, I want you to know something. Me being Italian, me being in Italy, so I know a little bit of Italian. If you know what Spazzatura is, please write it in the comments. It's technically what it is garbage in Italian. So This woman played garbage. She voiced garbage. She's also been, which is funny. She was in the aforementioned. She did a Simpsons episode. She's done Lord of the Rings. She's done all 6 of the Lord of the Rings. She's also done Thor. She's done a Marvel movie, and you happen to have her at number 3.
Okay.
Kate Blanchett.
I had her at 4.
4.
Okay. So we had number that one right. Well, we actually have the second one because my number 1 is your number 2 because yeah, School of Rock, which until you said that, I was trying to think of another show she was on because it came up iCarly and I knew the name and I'm just like, God, I know who this is. I just can't put her in other movies. So, but yeah, Miranda Cosgrove is my number 1. So, all right, let's move into the male side of things here because even still look at the list. We're going to miss a lot here, and our number 1s better be the same.
Well, my number 1 says if my number 1 isn't this number 1, I can understand. They would be pulling my card because of the fandom that I have.
So let's go with number 5 in the male side of birthdays on May 14th.
Number 5, I believe, is a Cy Young Award winner. Matter of fact, he's a Hall of Fame pitcher. Played for both. I believe he threw a perfect game in the World Series. Not in the World Series. I'm sorry, not in the World Series, but in the playoffs.
Playoffs, yep.
As a Philadelphia Philly.
Yep.
A guy that we lost again. I think we lost way too soon. When you think of baseball pitchers, this is one of those guys that rank up there in the top 20 pitchers of all time in my list. And that's Roy Halladay.
Yep. Yeah, I lost way too soon. My number 5, I will go and say homer pick. One of the first members of, I think within the first 3 years of the Timberwolves being a team, he was part of that team.
Ooh.
And that's guard of Pooh Richardson.
Pooh. I saw Pooh. I saw Pooh on there. Yeah, Pooh.
All right, you're number 4.
My number 4. If it weren't for this man, matter of fact, if it weren't for this man, I don't think you and I are talking right now. Which is strange. Matter of fact, if it weren't for this man, you probably wouldn't. Half of you wouldn't be watching us on a platform right now.
Okay. I saw the name too. Yes, I know who you're going with.
If it's not for Mark Zuckerberg, there's no Facebook, there's no Instagram, there's no WhatsApp, there's no everything at this point. There's no meta universe. And it's Mark Zuckerberg,
Yeah,
the robot himself.
And he's what? I mean,
38. 38, yeah.
Yeah. What were you doing at 38 or in your 30s? I mean, we weren't multi-millionaires.
38. I was in Florida. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Florida.
Exactly. Saw the name. Yeah, you're right though. I mean, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing this stuff. So, my number 3, we're at number 4. My number 4 is your number 5, Roy Halladay. Yeah, another guy, like we said, lost too soon. Who knows where he could have been in the record books if tragedy wouldn't have struck him. So, number 3.
My number 3, matter of fact, you brought up Topanga, and I believe my number 3 was on Boy Meets World for like an episode because he was the father of. He was on the episode. He was on because he was whatchamacallit's father.
Yep.
Again, the same time I met Rock, I saw the Rock at a pay-per-view. I saw this guy have to take his mask off because he was in a mask match with Kane. And he said he felt like, we know whatever he felt like. But to see the push he got in WCW that he didn't get in WWF, is absolutely strange. And the push he got in Japan was even bigger.
Yep.
As a heel. And that's Leon White, otherwise known as Big Van Vader.
Yep. And yeah, just recently, the last 5 years, I think, just
elected. In the last 5 years, yeah.
And elected into the WWE Hall of Fame. Yeah. For what Leon White could do, Vader.
And he was a football player in Colorado.
For a big dude, I mean, to be able to do somersaults off the top rope, carry that mask around, that was huge. I would love to find out how heavy that mask was, but yeah, his push in Japan is what I think really got him back in the swing of things. But yeah, Leon White. Number 2.
If our number at this point, I'm taking your number 3 was Vader.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that our top two should be the same. It should be the same.
You were right.
The man who basically put Michael J. Fox on the map. Okay, that didn't give me any confidence the way you looked at your list. Between him and Christopher Lloyd in Back to the Future, but everybody remembers my director for my number 2 as the guy who gave Tom Hanks his second Oscar in Forrest Gump, and that's Robert Zemeckis.
Oh, you went that route. No, our number 2s are not the same.
Oh, no.
I missed that one. I kind of wonder who your number 1 is then.
My number 1 is safe. My number 1 is solid.
It better be. Because my number 2 is a pitcher. Boston Red Sox. I think he was a part of the 94 Montreal team that probably would have won the whole effing thing. Dennis Martinez.
I saw that one. I saw that one.
All right. So you're number 1.
My number 1, just a director from Southern California, was a classmate of the aforementioned Francis Ford Coppola, and Steven Spielberg. That USC film class has put out so many Oscars. They could build the Oscar Hall of Fame just on these 3 alone.
Yeah.
basically started out his got a little career out there with THX 1138. Basically, that's his student film. Couldn't make the film that he wanted until he had enough money, so he made American Graffiti. Then he went to 20th Century Fox and got a little his picture picked up by Alan Parr. I know a little too much about this guy, and that's kind of scary. Find out he's 78 on the 14th is even scarier. But made this little series that changed the entire landscape of cinema. Had to create things in order for this movie to actually become something, and has made millions and billions of dollars just by selling pieces of it off.
Yep.
Between selling off Lucasfilm to Disney, to starting Pixar, to starting Industrial Light and Sound, to starting Skywalker Sound, to help finance Indiana Jones movies, to help finance E.T., to help finance everything that Steven Spielberg seems to do. But to see what he did with Star Wars and what he did and created for the entire world, and basically moved the entire world and the landscape of cinema 30 years forward, it's amazing to see what he's done, and that's George Lucas.
Yeah, no doubt. Number one. I mean, you list off everything, like you said, that class of film class back in the day. I mean, you'd be sending your teacher so many Oscars because you're winning them so much. I mean, that classroom, I mean, the stories it could tell. I mean, the ideas those guys had at the time. I mean,
I believe, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Zemeckis might have been part of that group too.
Yeah. And the thing is like you said, Lucas, had to make this film because he didn't have enough money to make his original film. I mean, just think Star Wars, what he could do now back then. I mean, if he could do now, what technology he has now, if he could have used back then for Star Wars, on what those movies could be like. So yeah, Lucas is my number one. We're a little bit over the time, but oh well. But going back to May 5th, you know what birthday we forgot?
No, don't say it.
And I know he's down in Florida, and if it ever comes across, we forgot Brooke Hogan's birthday.
No, we're safe. I didn't forget it.
But look at that, May 14th. I mean, Clay Matthew, Ray.
Well, May 14th sucks, man. We could have that's another one we could have done 10 people on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at Frank Gore, Clay Matthews. There's a couple names. So with that being said, Tim, final thoughts.
Thanks everybody for watching. Tonight it's Between the Ropes. I got it right this time. Yep. Tomorrow is
Sports Minute.
Sports Minute. Thursday is whatever you want it to be. But we're going to be back on Saturday. Brandon and I and Bacon and Big Dog Greg will be back on Saturday for On Deck.
Yeah, exactly. Between the Ropes tonight. Talk about the draft because they had their draft. Don't forget in the den with the Cougars, all with Sports Minute. Cougars, another tough loss there. With Utah, little short. Had a lot of double duty there, but the girls put up a good fight. If you haven't been able to watch it, catch it on Facebook here or YouTube. Just type in C2C or Coast to Coast Entertainment Network, and you'll find out the streaming if you want to watch some women's football. With that being said, like Tim said, we'll be back next. Well, we'll see on Saturday for On Deck, but C2C will be back next week with another amazing list. So you guys have a good one. See you next week.